Aging is a privilege few truly appreciate until the mirror reflects back a lifetime of laughter, love, and lessons learned. Yet as the years unfold, certain habits can quietly take root, dimming the vibrant spirit within us. Growing older isn't about fading away, it's about refining the masterpiece we've spent decades creating. Today, we'll explore the unseen habits that may be holding you back, and how with a few mindful shifts, you can continue to age with the grace, dignity, and radiance you deserve. As we journey through the golden chapters of life, caring for ourselves becomes an even deeper expression of love and dignity. Yet without realizing it, many of us let small habits slip away, especially when it comes to personal hygiene. It's easy to understand why. Our bodies change, skin becomes thinner, drier, and more sensitive. Simple movements that once felt effortless, like reaching behind the ears or bending down to care for our feet, may now demand more effort than before. And with age, our sense of smell gently fades, making it harder to notice subtle shifts in body odor that others might perceive. But here's the truth. Tending to our hygiene isn't about vanity. It's about honoring the life we've lived and the life we still have ahead. Clean, nourished skin doesn't just feel better. It symbolizes the care and respect we show ourselves every day. A healthy smile, made possible by gentle daily flossing and regular brushing, is not just a sign of good dental habits. It's a warm, welcoming invitation to connect with others. Fresh clothes and attention to small details like clean fingernails and soft skin speak volumes long before words are exchanged. Sometimes, it's the smallest acts of care that preserve our pride and brighten the way others see us and how we see ourselves. Simple adjustments like keeping lotion by the sink, using long-handled brushes, or investing in an electric toothbrush can make daily routines feel easier and less burdensome. Even these tiny rituals become sacred moments, tiny affirmations that say, "I am still here, I am still worthy of care." Growing older with grace means leaning into these tender self-care practices, not pulling away from them. It's about looking in the mirror, not just to count the years past, but to honor the strength, resilience, and beauty that remain. Personal hygiene is not merely maintenance. It's a daily celebration of life, a loving reminder that no matter our age, we are deserving of feeling fresh, proud, and fully alive. As the years unfold, it's only natural that life brings its share of aches, losses, and frustrations. We carry within us a rich landscape of experiences, stories of perseverance, moments of heartbreak, memories sweet and bittersweet alike. And yet, without realizing it, the weight of these experiences can sometimes shift the tone of our conversations. What begins as a simple sharing of our day can slowly slip into a litany of complaints, leaving those around us, especially younger loved ones, feeling overwhelmed or helpless. It's not that our feelings aren't valid. They are. Every ache, every worry, every disappointment matters. But the way we choose to share them can either strengthen or strain the bonds we hold dear. Constant negativity, even when unintentional, can create a heavy cloud that others find hard to stand beneath for long. Sometimes, without meaning to, we can become the voice they dread hearing, instead of the comfort they long to find. There is profound power in choosing how we tell our story. Imagine beginning each conversation not with sorrow, but with gratitude. A simple acknowledgement of something good before gently opening the door to deeper concerns. A smile about a grandchild's latest accomplishment. A note of thanks for a sunny day. A word of appreciation for a friend's kindness. These small offerings of light invite others in, softening their hearts and readying them to listen with patience and love. And when burdens grow too heavy to bear alone, it's important to find safe spaces for our struggles. Trusted friends, counselors, a private journal where our hearts can pour freely without fear of burdening those we cherish. Not every passing pain needs to be spoken aloud. Sometimes quiet reflection or written words can provide the healing we seek. Growing older gracefully isn't about pretending life is perfect. It's about recognizing that how we frame our struggles reveals the spirit with which we carry them. By leading with gratitude and balancing honesty with hope, we honor the depth of our experiences without letting them define us. In doing so, we become not only survivors of life's storms, but beacons of resilience, wisdom, and grace, touchstones for all who walk beside us. In the comfort of our later years, there's something deeply satisfying about slipping into soft clothes, familiar shoes, and well-worn fabrics that feel like old friends. After decades of dressing up for work, raising families, and meeting the world's expectations, the temptation to let go of outward appearances feels not just understandable, it feels deserved. We've earned the right to relax, to feel good, to no longer squeeze into shoes that pinch or garments that tug. But somewhere in that quiet shift toward comfort, we may begin to lose touch with a deeper truth. How we present ourselves on the outside can still shape how we feel on the inside. Dressing with intention is not about chasing trends or impressing others. It's about honoring the person you still are. A clean shirt, a pop of color, a garment that fits well. These simple choices can reignite confidence, energy, and a sense of pride that whispers, "I still care about me." Too often, oversized clothing, faded fabrics, or mismatched pieces become our armor, signaling to the world, and sometimes to ourselves, that we've retreated, that we no longer feel seen. But the truth is, we are still very much here, still vibrant, still worthy of being noticed. You don't need a closet full of designer pieces to reclaim your presence. A crisp blouse, a cozy but polished sweater, or a colorful scarf can transform how you move through the day. These aren't just clothes, they're reminders that joy still lives in the little things, that your reflection still matters, that self-expression didn't retire with your last job or fade with your last birthday. And the beauty of this stage of life, you get to define your own style. No rules, no pressure, just choices made with care and love. Maybe it's a bold print you never dared to wear before, or a favorite pair of earrings you haven't reached for in years. Let getting dressed become a small celebration of self, not a routine, but a ritual. Because showing up for yourself, even in what you wear, is not vanity, it's self-respect. And in honoring yourself through thoughtful appearance, you remind the world that your story is far from over, and it's still worth showing up beautifully for. There's a certain wisdom that only time can give. A deep well of stories, lessons, and hard-earned truths that come from living through decades of change. And it's only natural that when younger generations speak of their struggles, we instinctively reach for our own memories. Back in my day, often slips from our lips before we even realize it, not to diminish, but to connect. Yet what feels like shared perspective to us can sometimes feel like dismissal to them. The world our children and grandchildren are navigating is vastly different from the one we knew. Yes, they have technology at their fingertips, conveniences we never imagined, and choices we never had, but they also live under pressures we never had to carry. Constant comparison through social media, the burden of economic instability, and a world that moves faster than the heart sometimes knows how to keep up. Their challenges may not look like ours, but that doesn't mean they're any less real. When we meet their worries with comparisons, we risk closing the door to honest connection. Instead, what if we opened the door wider, with curiosity, not criticism? What if we asked, "What's that like for you?" instead of, "That's nothing, you should have seen how we had it." By listening with empathy instead of judgment, we become a safe place, a sounding board, a source of quiet strength they can turn to. It's not about silencing our stories. They matter deeply, but there's a time and space for them. And often, sharing them with humility and heart makes all the difference. Rather than offering advice at every turn, sometimes the most loving thing we can do is simply listen, to nod without interrupting, to witness, not fix. Because when younger generations feel heard, they draw nearer. And when they draw nearer, something beautiful happens. We become part of their journey, not just as elders from another era, but as trusted companions in the here and now. In this way, our legacy is not just in what we've lived through, but in how we respond, with grace, compassion, and a willingness to let each generation write its own story, while knowing we helped shape the pages with love. With age comes wisdom, but also, if we're being honest, a thinner thread of patience. After a lifetime of responsibilities, compromises, and navigating challenges both big and small, it's no surprise that minor frustrations can feel disproportionately heavy. Misplacing our glasses, waiting in a long line, or dealing with a slow cashier, these everyday annoyances can sometimes stir a reaction far more intense than we expected. And before we know it, our words grow sharp, our tone tight, and the warmth we've spent a lifetime cultivating feels momentarily eclipsed by a storm we didn't see coming. But here's the truth. These small moments of irritation don't define us. They are simply signals, whispers from a tired mind or an overwhelmed heart, asking for a pause. And in that pause lies the power to choose again, to respond rather than react, to breathe instead of bristle, to soften instead of snap. The people around us, our loved ones, caregivers, or even strangers, often mirror our energy. When we meet frustration with grace, we model calm. When we express patience, we invite connection. And in doing so, we preserve not only our relationships, but our dignity. Mindfulness isn't some lofty ideal. It's a gentle practice of noticing. Noticing when we're tired and need rest. Noticing when hunger, loneliness, or worry is bubbling beneath the surface. And most importantly, noticing that we are still in control of our emotions, no matter how strong they feel in the moment. A deep breath, a short walk, a whispered prayer, a pause before a reply. These small acts become tools, not to suppress our feelings, but to guide them gently toward peace. Because reacting with kindness, even when it's hard, is one of the most beautiful forms of self-respect. Let us remember that people may not always remember what we said, but they will remember how we made them feel. And in our golden years, we have the extraordinary opportunity to be remembered not just for our stories or our age, but for the warmth, patience, and calm we carried into every room. Grace under pressure doesn't mean never getting upset. It means choosing, again and again, to let love and peace lead the way. That is the mark of true emotional strength, and that is the legacy worth leaving behind. It happens so subtly that we hardly notice. One day we forget to drink enough water. Another, we skip our morning walk because our knees ache a little more than usual. Slowly, the rhythms that once grounded us, hydration, movement, rest, and reflection, begin to slip through the cracks of our daily lives. And yet, it is precisely these simple acts of care that keep the light in our eyes and the strength in our steps. As we age, the body sends quieter signals. Thirst hides behind fatigue. Stiffness replaces the fluid motion we once took for granted. But this isn't a reason to give in. It's a reason to tune in. Self-care doesn't have to be elaborate or exhausting. It can be as gentle as sipping lemon water in the morning, stretching your arms to the sky before bed, or taking a walk just far enough to hear the birds sing. These rituals are not about vanity or performance. They are about presence, about saying, I am still here and I still matter. When we move our bodies, we remind ourselves that we are alive and capable. When we rest with intention, we remind ourselves that we are worthy of peace. When we nourish our minds with puzzles, books, or music, we spark the joy of discovery that never truly fades. Letting go of these habits may seem harmless at first, but over time, they quietly chip away at our vitality, leaving us more tired, more withdrawn, and less connected to the beauty of everyday life. But the good news? It's never too late to begin again. Every day offers a new invitation to honor yourself. So light a candle at sunset, take a deep breath of morning air, reclaim your rituals, one small moment at a time. Because aging doesn't mean surrendering the joys of being well. It means redefining them with grace, wisdom, and love. You are not fading, you are still unfolding, and your care for yourself is the most powerful act of defiance against the idea that growing older means growing lesser. It means growing deeper, growing fuller, growing beautifully. Growing older is not a slow fading into the background. It's an awakening to the deeper beauty of life itself. Every choice we make, every habit we tend, is a brushstroke on the masterpiece of our later years. By embracing small changes with open hands and an open heart, we honor the life we've lived and the vibrant spirit that still shines within us. Remember, aging gracefully isn't about clinging to the past. It's about standing tall in the present, radiating wisdom, kindness, and an undeniable light that only grows brighter with time.